you gonna do, brother? We about to run wild with a style like no other. So somebody call Brodus Clay mother and tell her Richard runs on the men like Ed Lover and Doc Dre. What Scott say, what they hang on every word like it's something that the Rock say. No JR, but they talking wrestling. We bring the noise with the boys, so we Dalton Castlin. So masculine, oozing machismo, mutton chop shop, Gran Turismo. No free throws, snarl hoops and heels. Steve Ross retirement, give you the super feels. Straight shoot, it's real. Drop a pipe bomb, get ready to bull like the Rock's right arm. So stay calm, tranquilo, I'll go Naito and give him Destino. And we know that you chumps ain't ready for the heartbreak runs and the Cuban Genetti. They drop it heavy, tag team it like Teddy. Long go strong with the heat like Eddie. So steady like when Taker walk the tightrope. Spaz like Taz with the mic in a tight choke. 30th player in the game with the eye poke. 1988 Macho Man on a lot of coke. These other cats are a waste, they boring. Illegitimate sons like Jason Jordan. And Richard Runz never give him respect unless they going on air with a broken frickin' neck. So bounce like Papa Pump's pecs. Every time they get down, they bound to catch wreck. Y'all don't know nada, they the Okadas. You're the Washington Generals, they the Globetrotters. A whole lot of podcasts in the scene, but Richard Runz running wild is the cast of your dreams. So it seems these two is too sweet. Bullet Club pulling up with schemes to delete. So retreat, we steal, we cheat, but I never lie, I swear on these beats. And these two got some styles for you, but what you gonna do when they run wild on you?
Oh, hell yeah. It's the Big Dog Red Tires. And you're listening to the Running Wild podcast. Because if you're trying to run wild, this is the place to do it.
Do you want to let everyone know that you get it? Do you not want to be a Melvin? Well, then listen to the Running Wild podcast. And if you don't, you know what you are.
I'm the last real man, Silas Young. And if you're any kind of man, you'll be listening to the Running Wild podcast.
Hi guys, this is Mandy Leon, and you're listening to the Running Wild podcast.
This is Sam Adonis, El Burro de las Chicas, the CMLL, and you are listening to the Running Wild podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special episode of the Running Wild podcast. I'm your host, Rich. Alongside me, as always, my co-host, Runz.
Yes, sir.
I think this is like one of the first times in recorded history that we've actually taped immediately after a show, so that you guys can get our, hot takes right away. I don't know if we're going to have super hot takes for the show, but we're going to be talking about all in this episode. That's why we released a little late this week, so that we could make sure we saved all our comments and, just thoughts on this show. So just overall, what'd you think about the show, Runz?
It was just amazing. I don't know, like just seeing the crowd, seeing the stage, and then it's guys that you watch in such smaller venues all the time. So it was just pretty awesome from the beginning. And then, each and every match lived up to and far exceeded expectations. So, as high as my expectations were going into this show, they still exceeded it, and I couldn't be any happier.
I have to agree, and I'm trying to take pause and think about this for a second, right? Because I think that it's interesting. I can already see on Twitter that a lot of people are like, "Yeah, it was good, but it wasn't that good." And I've heard this idea before the show that I was like, if you were going to like this show, you were going to like this show, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Going into it, you and I would probably like it.
If you watch Being the Elite, then, you're a fan of the show. That's as simple as it was, I think.
Yeah, I can't really argue with you on that. I just don't... I don't even... I kind of guess this idea, going around, is because... I don't know, people going into this were, expecting this to be good, right? And I don't mean, they were demanding that each match were a certain way, where... I think that in our heads, both of ours at least, right? We definitely felt that way at times. I think throughout the show, I don't know. it's hard to describe because I'm trying to be objective, but I'm one of those people who this show appealed to. I mean, Billy Gunn was, in one of the first matches of the night. SCU, and well, we're going to talk about this, but it's like every match or every couple of matches had something that for me screamed Richie. I say that because it screamed like young, like 12-year-old me and not like adult me. And I popped for a lot of stuff going on in the show, man. Like little things, big things.
I think that that's one of the coolest and best parts of the show was that not only did it kind of represent the future of wrestling, they did a great job in paying respects to a lot of the past guys or performers or moments or anything, be it Earl Hebner or, Nightmare Team or the guy, like everyone was involved. So I just thought that was really cool. Kind of past, present, future, all really well represented here.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, I don't know how you could be someone who, like, didn't enjoy that. If that makes sense.
I honestly don't know. And, I saw, like, some people just kind of, like, being negative on Twitter or, making jokes like, oh, Punk or Kevin Steen and Neville. Like, all right, yeah, it was a pipe dream for any of those guys to show up. All right, so you can't be mad at none of them showing up. You got Jericho, you got Joey Ryan coming back, but I don't see what any problems were. Like we have some small things here and there that like you said, we'll discuss as we go through. But I enjoyed the show wholeheartedly from top to bottom.
Yeah, it's just like kind of mind-boggling, and I mean this is definitely our wheelhouse, so that's definitely something that like I guess you got to take into account a little bit. I don't even want to take into account, to be honest with you, but
well, like there was times where like someone like Janela, like Excalibur or Riccaboni would say like, oh, this is your first time watching Joey Janela, and for people like us. We've seen everyone on this show multiple times. So, we definitely weren't in that category. But if there was anyone, tuning in and seeing a lot of these guys for the first time, then they got a hell of a show from them.
Yeah, there's nobody, I'm kind of at a loss for words here because I'm so excited. I think we should just get into talking about it because I don't even think I can be objective here. I don't think I can sit here. There are guys that, like you said, we've seen in small venues, and when I say that, it's not because like, I feel super cool that I knew them before they were big, right? It means like I saw them wrestling in like a VFW, and it's really cool that they got to wrestle in a 10,000 seat arena.
I mentioned it kind of on Twitter, but when we saw whatever that independent show that we watched in Brooklyn, where the first time I saw MJF, and like we left, and I was like, "Yo, that show was terrible," except for that guy with the scarf, and you could just see that MJF was awesome. And now in front of 10,000 people, it was still his show, and again, that's, oh yeah, cool for me. You knew him before then. That's not the point. The point is that's wrestling, like where you can see these guys, and now because of this platform, you're getting to see them just blow up, and that's a cool thing just for wrestling in general.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a huge part of it, and then seeing guys that you just like succeed. You know what? Let's just jump into it because I could sit here and kind of just talk, give effusive praise here for probably a minute on end, but it's probably just best to do it while we're going to the show because then I can be very specific about what I'm saying. All right, so 0 Hour kicked off on WGN. Super excited that this is one of the few times in life that I ever have a channel that wrestling's on that's not USA. It just so happens that my cable package or the company I'm with never really has Lucha Underground or Impact or Ring of Honor is not in like New York on regular TV. So like this was really cool just to be able to sit down and I actually I can't remember the last time I watched cable TV on my good TV in my living room. My son was not very happy about it, but I was like, "Yo, no, this is like the first time ever." I bought that TV. I never watch it. I watched the crap one in my room, so here we go. And just super hyped to have it come on there. Just fun little stuff. Like I was sitting there, and right at the beginning, Stat Wife was there, and she didn't know who was calling the show, and then she heard Ian Riccaboni's voice, and she was like, "Oh, that's really cool," and just like there were moments like that until she eventually fell asleep. Oh, I'm not supposed to talk about that on air, but anyway, that she seemed to really be enjoying. So I think like that this not only I felt like that there was a lot here going on that even if you're not like a BTE super fan, and you just happen to be the long-suffering wife of a guy who is obsessed with professional wrestling, you can sit down and actually enjoy the show and not feel like she wasn't complaining about how long it was when we watch a WWE show.
Yeah, completely agreed. I mean, you want to get started and then not get started?
Yeah,
again,
no, I know because I started talking about the presentation of 0 Hour. It went on time. Gotcha. Everything was going well. I think like they did a really good job of appealing to people. When my mother-in-law looks at the screen and goes, "Are those guys dressed like Rocky and Apollo?" I'm like, this is absolutely amazing, fantastic way to connect with an audience member that you didn't even know would be watching this show.
Right, and that's that's the key part of being on WGN is people like that, or people that would never in a million years know about this or follow this or anything. Maybe they happen to stumble across it, and hopefully that's the case, and that's a really cool thing that it was just on cable TV, and it a lot of times with WWE pre-shows, it'll feel like a pre-show, or with Ring of Honor, they'll have like a women that you never heard of, or something like that in the pre-show. Ferrara, stuff like that, where it feels like a pre-show. This really didn't feel like a pre-show. Clearly, it kind of was. But it really just felt like the first hour of the show was on TV. And, that was a cool thing for the guys wrestling and, for everyone in the arena for being so excited for it.
Yeah, I think that's, the naysayers will say whatever, but the people in the arena were there to have a good time, to enjoy the show.
Right, and they were not taking over the show. They did not make themselves the show. They participated in everything that went on. They bought into the face and heel stuff. And, that's what you want from a wrestling crowd like this. Just be respectful of the product, be respectful of the guys in the ring. And I think that's got 10,000 of them there tonight.
Yep, and the first match, Briscoes versus SCU, I mean, right away they took a match that I normally would have been like, okay, this is going to be a good match, right? But I'm not super hyped about it. And then I'm like, whoa, now it's Apollo and Rocky. I am ridiculously into this, and this would be like a running theme almost for me during the night. Something would happen during the entrance, or something that would suddenly just make me so much more hyped for it than I thought I could be before.
Agreed.
Just really enjoyed it, super fun, and I thought it was it was really actually a good opener, and like I said, it appealed to a wider audience if you're just randomly watching Cops reruns. I think that's what played before and after this. So if you're just really into Cops, you just might go, hey, look, like I love Cops, and I also love Rocky 3. So I'm gonna watch these guys.
I love Cops. I love professional wrestling. I'm gonna watch this show. Apollo and Rocky was a nice touch. SCU looked like they were in great shape.
Oh man!
And watching the stuff on BT and the Briscoes feel like those kind of guys that you should be scared of. So, good match. I like the finish. It kind of came out of nowhere a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool. If you didn't see it, he Kazarian caught Mark coming out of the Doomsday device, and then Scorpio Sky hit a knee on Jay to stop him from breaking up the pinfall, and they got the win. So good way to kick off the pre-show, and a nice win for SCU.
Yep. We had a little hype interview by Kenny Omega. Make sure you guys order the show because I'm gonna have a good match later on. Good stuff. Then we had the over budget battle royal. The winner earns a title shot. Man, I don't even know.
This really was over budget because, look at the names in this match. Like Billy Gunn, Brian Cage, Colt Cabana, Punishment. There was a lot of Dreamer. There was a lot of big names in that battle royal. So
Bully Ray, Cage, Jordan Grace, just so many people.
Right. And I enjoyed the crap out of that battle royal. It was really good. And then it came down to Colt and Bully. So at first you thought Colt was going to win. Then you got that feeling like, oh, okay, Bully's going to win here. Great. And then, Mascot comes back and it's Flip. He gets the win. Cool moment for him. He's all in. He's booked on the show. Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I love wrestling because, this can happen, right? He's just pretends to be somebody else, and
right. Who did they think that was? Was that supposed to be Chico, or I don't know?
But then, there's a part of me, right? And I guess you can explain it away that Cody is busy, right? He's getting ready for his match, and he's focused on that. And he's helping run the show, obviously, but there's a part of me that's just like, yo, Cody has to know that just happened, and he could just walk out and be like, bullshit, you don't get the title shot.
Right, but I guess you promised the Battle Royal winner gets it, so...
But he wasn't legally allowed to be in the fucking... Okay.
Did they say anything about, a legal entrant into the Battle Royal gets the title shot? No. They just said the winner of the Battle Royal gets the title shot. He was legally entered, just under another identity. It's funny because I actually just watched a Cruiserweight Battle Royal the other day where I believe it was not Super Calo, Ciclope won the Battle Royal because Hoovy just jumped out and it was Dean Malenko, and then he beat Chris Jericho for the Cruiserweight title. So, good stuff. I'm fine with it.
And good on Ian Riccaboni, by the way. By later on, we'll mention this, but he brought up Ciclope. I'm not sure if you were just thinking about Ciclope or if you heard the reference that Ian made.
Won the Battle Royal. That Dean Malenko.
That's
Dean
amazing.
Malenko was Ciclope.
No, No, I remember that completely.
I watched it the other day. That's why.
That's amazing. Why? Hold on. Why did you randomly watch that?
Because it was on Super Brawl, whatever. I just put on that show and it was on, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool."
That's
and then,
amazing.
I was like, "Wow, Ciclope won this thing." Oh, right, Dean Malenko. Here we go. Yes.
Yeah, it was a hot angle, man. All right. So this was crazy. Yeah, Gordon winning was fun. I really enjoyed it. There were just a lot of fun moments. I kept getting confused with Austin Gunn and Billy Gunn. Super confused. I didn't I just I don't know if I didn't hear something, but suddenly I look up and I'm like, yo, what? Are there twin Billy Gunns? I'm just mad confused. I didn't, when they were the camera shot was from far away. So
yeah, I'm right there with you. I had no idea that was his son. I just saw some guy in Billy Gunn's trunks and I was like, oh, well, that's an interesting choice for this match that Billy Gunn is also in. But then, obviously later on, he started doing the DX chops and looking a lot like Billy Gunn doing it. And then eventually they said that I was his son. But yeah, up until the end of the match, I had no idea.
Yeah, all right. But it was really fun. I mean, I know some of the battle royals can be kind of awful. This one was particularly good, I thought.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, so that's the pre-show. Then so I think we got a lot there. It made you kind of want to watch. Now you know that Gordon was going to be all in and get the title shot. So really smart. I mean, for the 4 people who decided to watch this and then order the pay-per-view. But, I digress. I mean, I'm probably wrong about that. But it just feels like if you were watching this, you had already ordered the show.
Well, right, of course. However, maybe there are some people who stumbled across it and then bought the pay-per-view.
Yeah, you know what? I'd like to, if you guys are listening, and you...
Nobody who's listening
Okay.
to our podcast didn't buy all in.
Prove them wrong, guys. Prove them wrong. Send an email to runningwildpodcast@gmail.com.
All 2.5 of you.
All right. Excellent. Moving along. First match on the show proper, we had MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, taking on Matt Cross here. M-Dog. I thought this would never have been an opener that I would have told you I wanted to see. When it was announced, well, no, it wasn't announced. We kind of found, right? Like, that wasn't, I don't feel like that was announced before.
No, that wasn't announced. They were really the only two guys that didn't have a match that were announced, so you could kind of figure out that they were wrestling each other.
Yep. But at the same, but you know what? This was a really good opener. I thought, I appreciated, Cross is really good and kind of just agile. I really liked MJF's work on the arm. There was like a specific spin out power bomb or something where he tucked the arm into the tights. It was just doing little things like that, like kind of Arnie Anderson like that. I really like. And then Cross was selling it. Cross was trying to do his handspring, like elbow, and he couldn't plant on it. And then I think it was Callis pointed out beautifully. He's like, look, he couldn't plant his arm on that handspring there, and wasn't able to really follow through as much as he can normally because of the injury to the arm. So I just love stuff like that. It's smart. I think it makes sense.
They got, let's just touch on that quickly. They got the three right guys to do commentary because they didn't miss a beat. They called everything. They gave you background. They gave you details on the moves, on the matches, on the guys. So Riccaboni, Excalibur, and Callis were all awesome and really, really enjoyable on commentary.
Yeah, I mean, they really... It's crazy because you never know what kind of chemistry you're going to have with somebody in that situation. One, I mean, I can imagine, right, that it's not that easy. But at the same time, I mean, I feel like all of them walked in really prepared and professionals. Not like when you... you know what? He doesn't listen to this show. Not like when you watch Triple Mania and Vampiro is like talking about how in Mexico they do ladder matches differently and they don't hang things from the top as the camera is showing something hanging from the top of the place because that's what's going to be, what they're going to be fighting for in the ladder match. So, and that dude like runs that company. So, these three guys I thought were a really good choice. And I think it really added to the show. So, good opener. Cross gets the win here. He's the veteran. I kind of would have liked to see MJF win here.
It would have been nice, but it didn't matter.
Yeah, no, it didn't.
That was his match.
Yeah.
He was the star of that match. And, Matt Cross is excellent, like you said, and he does some really cool stuff in there. But MJF is the glue that kind of made that go. Just kind of with getting the crowd heat behind him and all that sort of thing. It makes it easy for the babyface, and Matt Cross plays that role, excellently. So, very good opener. Not what I expected to open it, not what I would have said would open it, but it got the job done. It was very good, and, I can't wait to see how this affects MJF's stardom going forward.
And then speaking of stars, it's Sean freaking Mooney. Yep, Sean Mooney interviewed Nick Aldis about the match, and they hyped it up. Okay, so you already have the over the budget battle royal, that I pop because you pop me because of the Rocky stuff, right? Then the battle royal gets me super excited because of the legends that were participating there and the funny stuff that was going on. Then I'm excited because I see MJF over here kicking the show off. I'm super excited to see him. Then now you bring Sean Mooney. Like now you have Sean Mooney on my TV. I just can't even like. I'm already like we're in like a little more than an hour in, and I am just super like it felt like it flew by. I couldn't get enough of it.
I completely agree, and we touched on that a couple times already. It just every stop of the way they had something new, something different, something to grab that lifelong wrestling fan's attention.
You got a Mel versus Daniels, and listen, wow, this was a serviceable match. I mean, I didn't feel that Amel did anything wrong.
No, it sometimes you could just tell like he didn't have like the power behind his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that's to be expected, and for being an actor and not a professional wrestler, he did a hell of a job. And I mentioned on Twitter again that being in the ring with Daniels and also having Jerry Lynn as the ref were just kind of perfect for this match. If anything, Lynn could help where needed, and obviously Daniels could help out with the physical stuff. So it was really well done. They had some very nice, intense spots there. Amel jumping through the table from the top, Amel coast to coast.
Yeah, man.
So he did some good things in there to get the crowd hot, and it was really well done.
Totally agree. Daniels is just general. I'd say. I mean, the only thing I have to say negative about this match is, listen, Jerry Lynn, tuck your shirt in, man. You're a referee on a major show here. What's going on here? It's a rough
All I
shirt.
know is Jerry Lynn better be on the next episode of Popping Dogs and Talking Hogs, because they mentioned him all the time, and they were backstage with him at the same show. So let's hope so.
No, you got to remind me because I think I forgot my sign in one day, so I got it back. So you got to tell me. So I need to if he's on that show, I got to see it. All right, so next you had Madison Rayne versus Chelsea Green versus Britt Baker versus Tessa Blanchard. You got Tennille Dashwood and Manny Leone on commentary. I think one of the best comments my wife made was, "Where do these four wrestle? I don't think I've ever seen them, except for she knows Blanchard." But I thought this went 3 minutes too long.
I mean, it's hard to say because the crowd was really into it, and I definitely enjoyed that match. But, I agree with Statlife. These are four women that, Madison Rayne has been around in TNA and a little bit of NXT and a couple of ROH matches. But, for the most part, obviously Chelsea Green is TNA, but for the most part, these women aren't all over the place. And so it was cool and refreshing to see, there was a part of me that was like, oh, it would have been nice if Emma was on the show.
Yeah.
But then again, I kind of like these four women getting this chance, getting this opportunity. Britt Baker is obviously close to them with Adam Cole and all that sort of thing. So this was an awesome opportunity for her and, all four of them, and they killed it. You could tell that they were aware of the moment. This blew my expectations away because I didn't expect much. You never know.
Okay.
So, this was awesome.
I just felt like it lagged on a little bit at the end. I don't know if there was a middle stretch. I'm not sure where we're taking it off from. I didn't love the beginning in terms of the fact that it was just like, you got two in here. Okay, somebody comes back. Someone's dumped. Like they just kept that one-on-one and two people outside going for a little longer than I like because I'm going to get a little picky here because I thought this match was going to be really good. So I just wanted a little more from it, and I feel like if they would have shortened the time, would have tightened it up. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought they put on a good show, and like I said, my only complaint was I just thought it was a little too long. And that's I'm not saying cut 3 minutes out of if you haven't seen the show, a 5-minute match. This felt like it was easily 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, at least.
Right.
But,
so
I just have to disagree because the crowd was chanting, "This is awesome" for the first time of the night. They got a standing ovation. I respectfully disagree with your Time constraint.
All right, as long as it's respectful, then I'll allow it, and I won't erase it from the show when I publish it. All right, I don't really do that. No, never. All right, so moving on. Then I thought this was super surprised this happened so early in the night, but we had Cody Rhodes versus Nick Aldis for the NWA World Championship. Wow. I mean, did you see the 10 pounds of gold?
Yes.
Okay. So, I'm not going to lie here, wrestling fans. That 10 pounds of gold, where, basically Cody just pours his heart out. I felt, I don't care if I'm being worked, man. I mean, woof. I was like, oh man, after I watched that, I mean, I wanted Cody to win beforehand, but now I was like, oh man, but like, he has to win for himself. Like, I was just super behind him, super confused when, like, there was that whole, like, what do you think, what was the meaning of that part of the match where Hebner seemed to call it off because he couldn't continue?
I wasn't. I don't know. I honestly, like, I don't know what to say. Like, it just was what it was. Like, it didn't make complete sense, but it brought out DDP. We got the diamond cutter. We got all that. So I don't know.
By the way, we spoke about it off air, but going into this match, listen, your entourage, Nick Aldis, just really not up to snuff against Cody's entourage.
But even Cody's entourage wasn't that great.
Who are you to doubt Glacier, bro?
Yeah.
Who are you to doubt DDP? Who better if you almost get knocked out in a fight for the most important thing in your life? Who better than DDP to come out and encourage your ass to get back up?
Yeah. Do that downward dog and get up.
I was super hyped.
We got a yoga chant. That was entertaining. But for a second, it felt like that moment. Even though I knew, him throwing up the X was just like bullshit. It still sucked the energy out of the crowd for like a minute. And then, obviously Cody and Aldis brought them back. But hell of a match. As soon as Cody was bleeding, it was just like, oh man, like this is vintage Dusty winning the NWA title, bloody mess, all in the blonde hair. So seeing him win that at his show was just kind of like a surreal feeling and moment. You know what that meant to him. So just really, really cool.
And it's not because he he booked the show, but that title is not under his control. So him winning wasn't because he said I'm gonna have a show and I'm gonna win. Like, obviously, Billy Corgan, other people had to be involved in this decision being made. So that's why it also felt like so much more important. I loved it. I think my favorite moment of the match might have been when he comes up bleeding and my wife goes, "Wait a minute, how's he bleeding? He wasn't bleeding a second ago." And I looked at her like, "Do you not watch wrestling with me?" But anyway, they couldn't have at least had, by the way, Jared come out and be the guy who faces off against DDP. Like, is AAA like, no, you can't do that. He's our former mega champion. We're gonna send out Sean Daivari.
Yeah.
Like, if it was somebody else, I feel like it would have felt bigger. Maybe Aldis just doesn't, inspire that loyalty from Jarrett.
I mean, I don't know what to say. It was an interesting choice, but, it was what it was.
All right, moving on. So, this is, you come up with that really emotional match where I'm super behind Cody the entire time, and by the way, I don't think I mentioned, but I really loved the Sunset Flip to win. the unexpected kind of finish.
Right.
Just wow. I mean, just that's such a throwback too that I love it. I think that needs to happen more, a little bit more on shows. Now you get Flip Gordon versus Jay Lethal, and on the way to the ring, I mean, okay, so this is the only part that confused me, right? Like, the Genius, Lanny Poffo, and Jay Lethal have, like, friendship. You've seen it on Being the Elite, that Poffo just showed up to his house. I found his address and had his shirt size and gave him a shirt. So, whatever, that was funny. So, as Lethal's walking to the ring, before he gets, past the dressing rooms, I guess, the dressing room area, Poffo, a hand extends Macho Man glasses. And he's not in that at all. And then he looks at him, and then the hand slaps him on that shoulder. It seems to trigger his Macho Man side, Block Machismo, whatever you want to call it. So the next thing after Gordon's entrance, it's him and with Poffo in tow, and it's clear that it was Poffo who stopped him in the hallway. So it was just weird because I didn't anticipate that Poffo's and it comes into play later, right? But that Poffo's kind of toying with Lethal a little bit here. So yeah, Lethal comes in, he does the whole Macho Man everything, the entrance. He pulls Brandy over. Puts her in his corner as if she were Miss Elizabeth. And there's a spot later where he picked her up in his shoulders. I really like that stuff. There was a point where she hit him after that, and then Lethal goes back to being Lethal. And then just before he's going to hit the lethal injection, Poffo hits him. And then he goes back to Macho, hits 3 elbows a la WrestleMania 5. And just like that, jerk Hulk Hogan kicked out after 3 goddamn finishers. Now you have Flip Gordon doing the same, hulking up. But I gotta admit, I really liked it.
I have to say this. I threw it out on Twitter. Don't think it got the love it deserved. He didn't hulk up. He flipped out.
all right. That does make a lot of sense. Yo, they should do that. He should start flipping out. Oh no, Flip's flipping out. Or Gordon's flipping out.
That's perfect.
All right, well, that's clearly going to happen. We don't even want royalties for that. We just want to hear it on TV. I think it's great.
I mean, I'll take royalties, but that's beside the point. I mean, this was what it was. It wasn't the greatest, but Lethal was fun, and like I said, Black Machismo, it doesn't have the same effect as if he was talking, not wrestling as Macho Man. I think that makes a big difference, but it was still enjoyable.
I mean, even there was a part where after he got turned back to Lethal and then back to Savage, he says, he's like, well, yeah, like he just did something. Where Riccaboni goes like, listen, even his voice is changing, And I particularly look, like I said, it seemed like every little bit there was something that particularly, I mean, you can't get me happier than Macho Man cosplay. And kind of a callback to Hogan Macho WrestleMania 5. That's my childhood. So Lanny Poffo's at ringside. I mean, again, like for me, this was much. I mean, I can see why people may not think it's the greatest. I was smiling ear to ear.
Right, it was definitely enjoyable. It just wasn't like that wrestling spectacle that people might expect. And I wasn't the biggest fan of like the neck chops during the match. Like, all right, so then why doesn't it happen every time he falls? Like, I don't know.
It's a very specific area.
Yeah, but he's getting hit in the shoulder a lot. I don't know. So whatever. I enjoyed that whole Being the Elite thing, so I'm not gonna hate on it. Here, I just I didn't need it during the match. But it is what it is. So it made sense how they told that story. I don't know if Flip is the guy that I would have, in that Hogan role. So that was like whatever. But it was cool to see him on the card. And, I wish we would have got some type of interaction, like you were saying before, with Cody and the Bucks or something. But I'm sure we'll get that on Being the Elite later on.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be something. All right, so now we head into Kenny Omega versus Penta Zero.
Also, just a live update here right now.
Oh,
Chris Jericho is flying to Kansas City for his Fozzy concert right now. Like it's like it's gonna happen. So that's just pure insanity.
He's such a rock star. I totally missed
literally
the post match though. So basically, Bully Ray comes down and he attacks both of them. And as he's setting up a table, Colt Cabana runs down, Shield powerbomb through the table,
which the crowd did the sound for. But
yeah.
Roman Reigns isn't over.
Then they kind of like leered at him, and then they left. So
I just want to say that it's kind of ironic that at all these WWE shows you get the Too Sweet and all these Bullet Club shirts and all of that, and everyone makes such a big deal like Bullet Club is bigger than this and blah blah. Yet at their show, 10,000 people basically cheer for Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I mean,
so that's kind of ironic and pretty hilarious.
Yeah, so, I mean, at first when I saw Bully Ray coming out, I was like, oh, come on. Like, I mean, because, he already had played the major spoiler role during the Battle Royal. I mean, we didn't mention this earlier, but it seemed like every time there was something fun going on, he was like, nope. And he would throw that person out, That
was the correct thing that Bully Ray should do.
Yeah, no, that was good. But I didn't think we'd see more of him in the night. So, but then it did give, as you had said, gave Cabana a chance to have that hometown moment during the show proper.
And what? The other thing that I kind of enjoyed during the Battle Royal and this match was like the continuation of the ROH storyline. Between all those guys, I'm not sure if like this is it, like that. It kind of played out. Or we'll see more of it in Ring of Honor, but I enjoyed seeing that. And I kind of got that vibe from Cabana on his way to the back when he went to Riccaboni, and he was just like, oh, yeah, it's nice to have it somewhere. It kind of just like, oh, yeah, hey, Ring of Honor, you could have done this 2 months ago, you idiots. But, I enjoyed that, and I'm happy to see Cabana get his moment. He's been going through a lot lately, so... to get that reaction in front of his hometown, have a moment like that, I'm sure it felt great, and I'm honestly not sure there's anyone better in professional wrestling that could happen to,
Yeah, no, bully for him, using interesting words. All right, forging forward, so we got Omega, Okada. No, I'm sorry, I'm talking about Omega, Penta, Zero M. Man, Penta was really over. I thought.
Why do you say that? Like you're surprised?
I thought he got a really big because
you only watch him in CMLL.
He's in Lucha too, but I didn't know that. It felt like the entire place kind of really erupted for him, and I didn't expect such a large reaction.
Oh well, yeah, I don't know. PWG, all that sort of stuff. That's just the reaction he gets. That guy is awesome, and I don't know, like he spurs that reaction in me. So, more than happy to see it there. Omega got a crazy pop as well. This match was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It was very competitive. Pentagon. There were a couple moments where I was like, "Holy shit! Like, Pentagon is gonna win." So yeah, I mean, they did a great job. I hated every single one of the package pile drivers. I really don't want to see anybody break a neck, and they were extremely close. That one on the apron, like you literally heard the thud, and oof, man, I don't need to see 3 of them in one match, let alone one. So, that was a little just like, oh my God, please, like, end this match before somebody. So, Omega eventually got the win. Awesome match. Exactly what you expected from these two.
Yeah, I mean, they really gave everything. I mean, you know, considering you've got one is the, you know, where they have their eggs in so many baskets, or they're just so important to other places they wrestle, and they came out here and kind of tried to kill themselves out there, and I respect and appreciate them for it. And then we get a cyclope moment here as after the match the lights go off.
Another one that I said before, somebody that I saw famous retweet it, Penta LY2J.
Wow. I mean, it was great because you didn't even get that anything was happening at first, right? Like the lights go back on. You knew, like, the minute the lights went back on, you knew that it wasn't Penta? Like, immediately?
Okay, I didn't know it wasn't Penta, but I knew something was going on. Like, the lights just didn't go out.
Oh,
they did a good job
of
trying to sell that. But yeah, it was like CM Punk and Jeff Hardy, right? When CM Punk beat Jeff Hardy at TLC, whatever, lights go out, lights come back on, and Undertaker's laying there. You don't even really pay attention. This was a whole nother level because he was wearing all of Penta's gear and all that. And at first, you know, he stood up, and it's like, oh, okay. And then you see, like, the tattoos, and you can tell, like, holy shit, it's Jericho. And, man, what a moment. Because now this is truly somebody that WWE, whatever the case, like, you know, he probably won't show up. But here we are. He showed up. It was absolutely epic. And, you know, I think Chris Jericho is a testament. You know, if you listen to the podcast that he just had with the Bucks and Kenny, he talked about it. Like, he's just having so much fun, and there's so much for him to do in wrestling outside of WWE. And, you know, seeing something like this show just kind of makes you think, like, yeah, I mean, life is better outside of WWE. Why would any of these guys ever go there? And we can get to it in a second, but Cody after the show cut a promo saying, like, you know, people want us to all go somewhere, but wherever one of us goes, all of us go, and there's no need to go anywhere right now. We're starting our own stuff. We are pro wrestling, all that stuff. So, you know, hopefully this isn't the last All In and we get a couple more, because this was absolutely awesome, and, you know, I would love to see more.
Yeah, I mean, just quickly, you know, it's tough because I want to say it's lightning in a bottle, but I don't know how many times you can. Like, are New Japan and ROH going to be cool with their talent being in other places like this again? Like, was this like, we'll do this one time?
How many Ring of Honor talents were on the show? Punishment, Lethal,
Cabana.
Yeah, but Cabana wrestles everywhere already.
Cody.
But the Bucks and Cody have non-exclusive stuff with them. Okada was the only New Japan guy. So, you know, right. I get what you're saying. However, there was no ROH logo on the show. There was no New Japan logo on the show. So, I get what you're saying, but I don't know. I think this is good for them. This is good for wrestling. I don't know that they would deny these guys stuff like that.
True. All right. So then you got Swerve versus Okada. I thought this was, you know, I think we had kind of talked about either being a squash or that Marty would have a chance to be made here. They definitely gave him the time. I actually almost felt, and maybe because, you know, I was watching the clock too.
We skipped.
What did I skip?
I believe we skipped Paige and Janela. Or was that after this?
Oh, you are correct. I somehow skipped that.
Well, I mean, absolutely epic match from those two. They probably stole the show. You know, it was their night. But the atrociousness that followed afterwards just was really... I get it. I get the whole storyline of being the elite. I didn't need 10 inflatable dicks out there. I just kind of like, what the fuck is this? This is not funny. This is not good. Like, oh man. So that was the only thing on the show where I was just like all out. There was no part of me that enjoyed any of that, and it has nothing to do with anything. It was just felt like a waste, felt like a stretch, felt like too much. They just killed it, and then you have that parade, which kind of took away from that match in that moment.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm fine with Joey Ryan coming back, but I didn't need that whole thing.
The Prudrids, the Penis Druids.
Sure, the parade of peni.
I don't even know. I mean, I was sitting there like, what the hell is going on? There's a part of... Well, I guess they couldn't have said it was going to be Ryan versus... Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking in my head, like, if you announce that it's Ryan versus Paige, you got to build that somewhere. So
Could have had, like, an open challenge. But look at the video package before the match. It was Joey Ryan. It had nothing to do with Joey Janela. So, like, they tried to sell it as, like, oh, he just wants to kill all Joeys, and hopefully there's no baby kangaroos and stuff in here.
That was amazing.
You're right. So some of that stuff was entertaining. And that match was absolutely amazing. But, the afterwards stuff just kind of took away from that match to me. And I would have been fine with Joey Ryan coming back, getting his revenge. That makes perfect sense. But I didn't need that, and that's 5 minutes that could have went to the main event that they got cheated out of. So, that's my real holdup.
All right, fair. But I think that was always... I understand, like... I understand what you're saying about it. That time could have been better spent on the main event. But, that was always going to be there, It probably
It was
couldn't
always
have to
going to be there, right.
Maybe
I don't think it was supposed to be that long.
I mean, the Penis Druids could have maybe walked a little faster, or Joey oiled himself a little less,
Right. There was a couple things where you shave a minute, 2 minutes here and there. You add to that main event. And you can tell just with the entrances in the main event that they were being rushed. 2 teams just got introduced all together, and then everyone was just running through everything. It just sucks because this is the Buck show. All 6 of these guys are going on last, and they're getting cheated out of having a real showcase because of the time constraints. So, that was just a little frustrating, but we'll get to that match in a second.
Yep. So, all right. So Marty Okada. I mean, so going into this, I thought it was either going to be a crazy squash match, or they were going to give Marty some time to shine. They gave Marty time to shine. I don't know if I felt this was too long because I started to grow worried about the main event. Right? Because it... and I won't lie, I don't watch tons of Okada matches, but I didn't get that he always hits like... I mean, does he always hit like 4 or 5 Rainmakers a match?
I mean, not always, but in a big match, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes me feel like...
Usually it's like one out of nowhere that, he can't really capitalize. Then it's like one where the guy's by the ropes or something like that, So they do a good job of telling that. And I thought they did the same thing here. Marty looked awesome. He looked like he could hang with the heavyweights. And, they had some fun spots throughout, but it was more of a serious match. And that's what Marty told you going in. And that's what we got. I definitely enjoyed it. And, I'm glad it took 2 Rainmakers, kind of just like out of spite. Because Marty spit at him, So Okada is just great. Marty was awesome here, and I look forward to seeing more things like this from Marty.
Yeah, I liked that at the beginning. He wanted to be a heavyweight, and then he was trying to suplex Okada, and just couldn't do it because he's just not as powerful. And then eventually, being able to hit a brainbuster, and he kind of switches tactics and kind of went to more of his style instead of trying to throw Okada around, and there was a lot of good here. Like I said, I felt like it could have been a little shorter, just because I'm thinking you're gonna have 6 crazy high flying maniacs coming out next, and I want to see them do insane stuff, and you know that there was stuff that they cut because I think this match went a little long.
See, I disagree with you on that. I don't think this match went long. I think this match went as it was supposed to be. I didn't feel like anything here dragged on or they did anything extra. I just think, maybe they timed the show out perfectly. And when you do that and things go 30 seconds over or a minute over, then, you end up with what we ended up in the main event. So I don't know. I didn't look at this match at all, really, as being too long. I enjoyed every second of it. But, I don't know. Like you said earlier, I don't know really where you're cutting time from to get it back for the main event other than the penis parade. But, it is what it is.
All right. Well, let's just because the way you framed it, I want to be clear. I do not think that they should have kept more time in the penis druid segment and taken it away from this match. As I'm watching the time tick by here, because now we're closer to the end, I said, oh man, I really wish they can, I kind of saw where it was going, and I could have, if they would have cut a couple minutes off so that the main event had more time, I would have been a little happier. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. The structure of the show, but my thing is you guys are getting there. It's I want to be someone's yo guys, look at the clock. Come on, we gotta get out of here. Look at Okada, win this match. Because once it got longer, I knew Okada was gonna win.
I get you, but now think about Triple H being in the back and telling the match before him, all right, you guys got to cut it 3 minutes short so that we have an extra 3 minutes. That's not the greatest look in the world. So once you're out there, I don't think there's anything you can do. I think they did the best thing that they could do and just kind of squeeze 7,000 moves into 5 minutes. And, that match was still fun. It was still entertaining as hell. I just hope at some point, somewhere, we get to see that match again.
Understood. All right, and then we just have the main event here. So, as we may have talked about on the show, there was a time in WWE where I was sour on Rey Mysterio. I wasn't his number one supporter.
See, I like that you say a time in WWE, but not like it was his entire time there.
No, because when he got to WWE, I was super hyped about him. I just never liked him winning. Listen, once he won the title...
Right, when did he win the title? In 2004? 2 years after he got there?
It was just because it was tied to the Eddie thing, man. I just couldn't...
Right, I completely agree.
So, that soured me. Then Lucha Underground Season 2 suddenly made me love Rey Mysterio all over again. It was 1990, it was 1996, and I was watching Nitro, or 97. And then tonight... This Magic Man, it's almost like he was thinking, Rich, this guy, Rich Saccone, who I just want him to get real excited about something. And I've shown you, I ordered a Wolverine Lucha mask because I want to go to Comic-Con this year as a Lucha variant of Wolverine. So I had the mask. I'm kind of piecing together a costume. Super excited about this. And this dude, this absolute legend, comes out in Wolverine gear. It's not even Wolverine inspired. It's Wolverine gear. My hype level, you've seen me, and by you I mean Runz, not the audience, fall asleep during the great matches all the time. I was super wide awake and super pumped when he came out. And
it makes it even better for me because I know how vehemently you hated Rey Mysterio, and when your son now shares a birthday with him, it was one of the greatest moments of joy that I had. Because even then, you were just oh, F that guy. So, now to see that you're going to go to Comic-Con dressed as Rey Mysterio, just kind of just puts it all, sums it all up perfectly.
I won't lie to you though, and can you please attest to the two people that listen to the show that I legitimately have the mask and was planning on doing something like this before Rey Mysterio came out? Come on.
I do not recall.
Okay. I mean, we all know this is a lie. This is terrible. I wish I would have your support in this moment. But I won't lie, it was super cool, but then there's a part of me that went, oh man, now if I do it, people are going to be like, oh yeah, you're Rey Mysterio. And I'm like, no dude, like I thought of this before Rey Mysterio did it. But no one's going to believe me.
Rey Mysterio does pull those out of his hat every now and then, the Joker or... he was somebody like the Riddler. He was somebody like at a recent show that he was just at. I can't remember. Spider-Man, all that stuff. So he pulls them out. Wolverine was pretty cool, and so like you said, it fit into your wheelhouse there, and just kind of made everything even better for you.
And you don't even understand that Wolverine is literally right now in the comics. Right now, like they're releasing the Return of Wolverine in like a week or two. Like he's finally back. So this dude just like I kind of love it even more that he pays attention to comics. Like he's like, oh, this dude's hot now. He's coming back. I'm back.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm probably overthinking it because now I love it so much. But the match was really great. I can't even. I mean,
it just sucks because you could see right from the very beginning how quick they were moving. And you just knew, like you said, you felt it from the last match. You just knew about the time constraints, and you even heard Paul Turner or Paul Turner a couple times, like yelling at him, like, all right, couple this, and then we got to go home, do this. And like, now. So, it just sucks that had to happen, but it was still super enjoyable. It was still cool to see all those matchups in that ring. Ibushi and Rey, particularly, even got a holy shit chant just when they were standing in the ring with each other. So, just something that would have been really, really cool to see a couple more minutes of, but for what they had, they absolutely killed it.
Yeah, man. Just booyaka. Just, I thought he was going to win, by the way.
Nah,
but now when it was the main, because I don't think we knew this before tonight. But
well, you assumed it was the NWA.
Yeah.
I knew that it wasn't.
Okay.
But remember, like we talked about the whole co-main event and that whole mega promo and all that stuff. But the Bucks ending the show and sending it home and giving all that speech and all that stuff just makes sense. But even with it being the main event, they still teased it a little bit that the Luchas were going to get the win, and it came close. Eventually, we got the Meltzer driver and everyone going home happy. But just a cool match, cool moment, awesome show. Hopefully, there's another one. But it just gives you those like those ECW vibes a little bit, right? Like where they immediately went off the air and the circuit blew. Like they cut it that close.
Yeah.
So, it's a learning experience for guys booking a show and timing it out for the first time ever. But they made the best of it, and the show absolutely killed it. I'm sure it exceeded their expectations in almost every way possible. So I couldn't be happier for them, couldn't be happier for just us as wrestling fans, and where we're going forward after all of this.
Yeah, so like coming out of this, there's actually going to be an NWA show in October. So Cody's going to have to defend there. I wonder if it's going to be... I'm
sure it'll be Aldis, right?
I don't know. Rematch. Did the history teacher get a rematch?
I mean, I honestly couldn't tell you what happened in the NWA before this.
Well, all right. So Yeah, I mean, I guess you would see it being a rematch, but then I don't know.
I mean, considering the guy walked out with Aldis tonight, I'm sure they're pretty cool. So, Cody will give Aldis a shot. He gets his rematch.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll be kind of cool to see if he holds on to the title for a little bit. I think he wants to, and I think he kind of wants that schedule a little bit and travel around as the NWA champion. It'll be interesting to see how that's handled in Ring of Honor going forward.
Yeah.
If there's any type of relationship there or not, because clearly Cody is a huge part of their show. But all that stuff will be really interesting. It's one of those things, like, the show ended and I was like, oh man, now what? This is over. Like, this is something that I think the entire indie wrestling fan base has been looking forward to since it was announced, right? So now it's just going to be fun to see what they do next, and really how much they take this success and run with it.
I think I'm a spoiled WWE guy, and I'm going to say here that I'm kind of sad that we don't get to watch the Monday Night Raw equivalent after Mania tomorrow. Well, being the Elite should
exactly.
I want to
Maybe
text
we
Nick.
get a Being the Elite, and that is a kind of a version of our Raw. But yeah, I mean, there's a Coke Cabana podcast tomorrow on Fight, and a couple other things just to kind of wrap up the weekend. So it'll be really interesting to follow along on Twitter and that kind of stuff, or Fight in general, just to see what's said about it, what they have to say, how they feel. So I really can't wait for all that kind of stuff to come out.
And we didn't mention it earlier, but the Cracker Barrel being there in the corner.
Oh man,
that was absurd.
And people can't even say, like, oh man, what a shameless plug. Like, these dudes tweet out pictures in front of Cracker Barrel all the time. Like, and they did it just for the hell of it. So now that it's become a thing, it's great.
That Donkey Kong spot was unbelievable.
My God, man.
Unbelievable.
See, and that's what this show was all about. Like, they gave you some of the best wrestling matches you'll see, some of the craziest one-on-one just pairings that you're ever going to see. And then you got all of that comedy and that fun stuff. Then you got the stuff just for the hardcore fans, like Sean Mooney or some of the stuff like that. So this show, honestly, I'm not sure it could have been better other than, just the timing wise. And that's something that, it is what it is. And we'll all get over that soon enough. But man, what a show, top to bottom, absolutely amazing. If you didn't, please go out of your way, find this, buy it, support it, watch it, and just continue to support these guys and all they do.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I think the show was just a huge success. If you haven't seen it, I hope that our talk here got you a little hyped for it. I can't say enough good about this show, and it's 2018, and it's fun to be a wrestling fan. So I can't remember the last time you and I finished the show and kind of felt top to bottom almost like exactly the same about everything.
Yeah, and there's always negative people out there and people who are just going to complain to hear themselves complain. But I really, penis parade aside, I have absolutely nothing bad to say about this show. It was flat out amazing, everything we wanted it to be and more. And just kudos to everyone involved for making it happen. The whole StarCast weekend has been fun, and hopefully if there is another one, we'll be in attendance or something of that nature. So just again, can't wait to see where all this takes us.
Yeah, totally agree. So let's let's just make sure we get our plugs in. We're brought to you in partnership here with pwponderings.com, rohworld.com, and lastwordonprowrestling.com. We're featured on the Wrestling to the Max Network. You can follow our podcast on Twitter over at Running Wild LWOS. Follow us on Facebook at Running Wild on Wrestling. And you can follow me on Twitter at Rich_LACONI. You can follow my Ring of Honor coverage there. Thanks for joining us. And I just want to remind you guys, before we get out of here, that this is the podcast that is just too sweet.
For Rich and Runz, this is the host of Ring of Honor Wrestling, Ian Riccaboni, signing off. Be sure to join them next week for another episode of the Running Wild Podcast.